Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kate and I thought today I would do a quick tag video for you guys. So I think this tag's actually been around for quite a while, but I think it's kind of been making the rounds again. And that is the reading habits tag. So excuse me while I just read the questions off my phone here, but we'll just get right into it. So the first question is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? Nothing in particular. Usually I sit or lie on the couch to read, or I'll read in bed before I fall asleep. But generally I'll just read anywhere in the apartment that feels the most comfortable at the time. Next question is bookmark or random piece of paper. So usually I use a bookmark. I have a jar of bookmarks that I use, but I also use post-it notes. If I have absolutely nothing, I'll dog-ear the page. Our transit system used to have paper transfers that I would use sometimes if I was on the bus or something, but we don't have those anymore, so that's not really an option anymore. But generally speaking, bookmark or post-it note is what I use to mark my page. Question number 3 is, can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter or a certain amount of pages? Generally speaking, I can just stop reading. I prefer to, at the very least, get to an end of a paragraph. If not, preferably I'd like to get to a break. Like sometimes chapters will have like the breaks, or like the starred break, or the end of a chapter ideally. I don't have a certain number of pages that I like to read, or that I need to read before I can stop reading. Generally speaking, I can stop anywhere. Question number 4 is, do you eat or drink while reading? I usually have water. I'm always drinking water, but other than that, I don't really drink anything. I don't drink coffee, so I know a lot of people drink coffee when they read. Sometimes if it's a cold night, I'll have some tea or something like that. And I don't generally eat unless I'm reading while I'm eating dinner, eating lunch, but that's not very often. I do read on my lunch breaks, but generally not while I'm eating. And then sometimes I do like to snack a little bit when I'm eating, so I'll maybe have like a small bowl of popcorn or something like that. Question number 5 is multitasking, music or TV while reading. So I don't put the TV on. Like if I'm sitting down to read, I won't turn the TV on, but I will read if my fiance is watching TV or playing video games. So sometimes the TV is on in the background. Generally, I don't put music on, but if I was going to be listening to music while I was reading, it would have to be like jazz or classical or something like that. I can't listen to anything with lyrics. I'll get too caught up in it. And even if I'm in like a noisy place, like a cafeteria or a coffee shop or something like that, I won't put music in. I find it easier to just kind of like ignore the general noise of the place that I'm in rather than actually having music in my ears. So generally speaking, no music or TV unless it's somebody else who has that stuff on. Question number 6 is one book at a time or several at once. So usually I'm a one book at a time kind of girl. I don't really like flipping back and forth between narratives and different stories. It's not that I get lost or confused or anything like that. It's just I like to get lost in one. So generally speaking, I'll read one. The only exception really would be maybe if I'm reading a short story collection, or if I'm reading nonfiction. So right now I'm actually reading a short story collection and a big omnibus collection of book reviews. So I'm reading those both at the same time, but neither one of them are really like just one linear prose story, so you can kind of dip in and out of both of them, which makes it easier. But if I'm reading a novel, one at a time. Question number 7, reading at home or everywhere? I do most of my reading at home, but I do read everywhere. I always have my book with me. I mentioned before in a video that I take the bus or walk everywhere, so if I'm on public transit, I'll always have my book. I'll always be reading. But I like to have my book with me like while I'm at work for my coffee breaks or my lunch break, or like if I'm waiting in line or in a waiting room somewhere, I'll always have my book out. So I can read anywhere, but I do most of my reading at home. Number 8, reading out loud or silently in your head. I read silently in my head. if I'm trying to, this is probably counterintuitive, but if I'm trying to read something quickly, I will read it out loud. Or if I'm having a hard time like grasping the concept of something, I'll read that out loud as well. But yeah, generally like 99% of the time I'm reading silently in my head. Question number 9, do you ever read ahead or even skip pages? No, I don't. I don't really like to know what's going on. Sometimes if I'm like, I can't help myself from doing this. Like sometimes if I'm like in a really exciting point in a book, I'll kind of like find myself like just skim reading to find out what's going to happen, even though I don't like, I want to take in every word. If I know there's something coming up exciting that I want to get to, I'll find myself skim reading, but I won't like jump ahead pages, jump ahead chapters at all. Question number 10, breaking the spine or keeping it like new? I don't know if you can really see on my shelves, but a lot of my spines are broken, particularly with the bigger books. So like, I don't know if you can see, all my Game of Thrones books here are just completely bent up, and my Patrick Rothfuss. So bigger books, I have a hard time not breaking the spine. Some of them I do, some of them I don't. It varies depending on the size of the book, how long I've been reading it. I used to be really particular, like I used to never even lend out books to friends or family or anything like that because I wanted my books to stay like pristine, brand new condition. But I've kind of gotten over that as I've gotten older, and I like my books to look well loved. I still have a hard time like buying and reading used books for some reason. I think because I like to make the books well loved on my own, not necessarily by other people. But I don't really have a preference for breaking the spine or not breaking the spine. It doesn't really matter. If it happens, it happens. And the last question is, do you write in your books? No, not usually. Sometimes I might go in with a pencil or underline something. If there's something that I want to mark off, I use these Post-it notes, these little sticky flags that I just buy at my local dollar store. But yeah, I don't usually write in books unless I'm in school and I need to annotate or make comments for like an essay or something. But generally I'll just use little flags. So yeah, that's it for the tag. Just a nice short, quick one. If I can, I'll find the original video and link it down below. I can't remember who did it originally, but if I can find it, I'll link it down below. And yeah, thanks for watching and have a great week, guys. See you in my next video. Bye.